Welcome to the signals room. I have a confession to make. Years ago, if you had walked into the gym where I worked out, you probably would have thought I'd lost my mind. There I was working out really hard, whether I was doing the stair climb machine or riding an exercise bike. I had either an ice cream, usually an ice cream, because there was an ice cream store right next to the gym, or maybe a Snickers bar. And I would be eating it while I was working out, not between sets, not after I was done, during my workout. Seriously. That's my confession. Now, I always thought that I loved sugar, but truthfully, I needed sugar to actually get my workout in. This wasn't some leisurely ride on a stationary bike or a slow climb up mechanical stairs. I actually worked out with friends that were bodybuilders, and they were very serious workout dudes. We all pushed each other very hard, whether it was cardio work or lifting weights. If I didn't have a Snickers bar or an ice cream nearby, I wouldn't make it through the workout. At some point, I realized I needed to find out what was going on. So I did the one thing that I knew at that time to do, and that was go to the doctor. Whereupon I was tested with this awful tasting syrup and blood draws every 30 minutes to end up with a diagnosis of severe hypoglycemia. I was relieved to actually have a diagnosis, and I thought I knew what to do next because the doctor said I needed to quit sugar. So I did. I cut sugar completely because as a disciplined person, it was hard, but I did it. Then my body screamed, wait a minute. I couldn't even walk up the stairs in my house without stopping halfway to slow down my heart rate and catch my breath. I thought this can't be good for me. But I did want to quit the sugar because I knew it's not good for me. Today, I don't think sugar was ever really the story. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand how bad sugar is. And I recommend to people all the time not to eat it. But that's a whole different discussion. For me, at this time in my life, sugar wasn't a problem. It was a strategy. My cousin recommended a fabulous Chinese acupuncturist, Dr. Ho. Now, the reason I was asking her about other options for natural approaches was the doctor had told me, after 3 weeks of no sugar, you should start feeling better. Well, I didn't. I actually felt worse than ever. But we'll come back to that. So I decided to go to Dr. Ho. I was desperate because the doctor said that I should be feeling better after 3 weeks off sugar. And when I went back and told him that I wasn't and that I felt 10 times worse, he started talking about waiting another week or two. And then if I wasn't feeling better by then, we would schedule some brain scans to look for tumors. So in my mind, acupuncture was definitely worth a shot. To this day, I can't fully explain what happened. All I know is something changed. After about 3 or 4 sessions, I started feeling much better again. I wasn't needing sugar to actually walk up the stairs. It took time, but eventually I got back to my rigorous workouts without sugar. That whole experience changed much more than the way I eat. It changed the questions I ask. Instead of asking, how do I stop craving? I start asking, why does my body believe it needs sugar right now? If I could go back and talk to the woman eating ice cream on the stationary bike, I wouldn't tell her to stop eating sugar before introducing her to a different approach. I'd tell her to become curious. I'd tell her that craving isn't a character flaw. It wasn't lack of discipline. It wasn't something to fight. It was information, a clue, an invitation to ask better questions. Because sometimes the goal isn't to silence the body's signals. Sometimes the goal is to understand why they're there in the first place. And when we begin changing the conditions beneath those signals, the body often begins telling a very different story. Turns out the woman eating ice cream on the stationary bike wasn't crazy after all. She was listening to her body. She just didn't understand the language yet. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me here in the Signals Room. If today's story resonated with you, I'd encourage you to think about one signal your own body has been giving you lately. Instead of asking, how do I make it go away? Try asking, what is my body trying to tell me? You may not have the answer today, but asking a better question is often where understanding begins. If you enjoy these conversations, I'd love for you to subscribe or leave a review or share this episode with someone who might need a different way of thinking about their health. And if you'd like to go even deeper, I'd love to welcome you into the Signals Insider Vault, where each month we explore ideas through deeper lessons, practical tools, and live conversations designed to help you become more fluent in the language of your own body. Until next time, I'm Jacqueline McLaughlin. Stay curious, because your body's been communicating with you all along. You might just be learning a new language.